Howdy folks, and welcome back to Horizon Zero Dawn, where one way or another things are going to be coming to a conclusion today. First, we've returned to Meridian in order to have a word with the Sun King, Avad. Except he's not where we seem to have left him. Oh wait, there he is. I don't know, these Sun Kings, they think they own the place. Well, technically he does own the place, Jingles. Don't come to me with facts, Sunshine. We don't like your type around here.
Aloy, what brings you to Meridian?
A threat. Helus commands a legion of fanatics called the Eclipse. They will attack soon from the west, with an army of ancient war machines. But that's not the worst of it. They'll bring a mind with them, god, demon, machine, whatever you want to call it. It's called Hades. And it doesn't want Meridian at all. It wants the spire. And if it gets there, it will send out a call, waking more ancient machines, more than we could ever defeat. All will be lost. We can't let that happen.
I'm trying to understand, but my responsibility lies with Meridian.
Meridian isn't the target, Avad. You have to defend the spire.
Perhaps the Vanguard, Your Radiance.
Yes, send them to the spire. Eren knows Aloy. He won't question it.
And have the city guard fortify the western ridge. There they can be seen to protect Meridian and the Elite, where the spire rests.
So, just to get those of you who are not yet fully aware of what's going on up to speed, Hades is on the move. The reason he wants the spire is that it's one of the communication arrays that was used by the Minerva sub-program of Gaia. And Minerva was tasked with breaking the encryption codes of the Pharaoh machine plague and issuing the shutdown order. Now remember, it was going to take Minerva the best part of 50 to 60 years to crack the machine plague's encryption protocols and issue that shutdown order, and we didn't have 50 to 60 years. We only had, at best, 16 months. And that's why we needed Project Zero Dawn. It was no good shutting the machine plague down 50 years after everything on the planet had died. And so Minerva was left doing her thing, while the rest of Project Zero Dawn was essentially in standby mode. Once the encryption protocols had been cracked, Gaia swung into action, activated her other subroutines, kick-started the terraforming process, kick-started the repopulation process. The problem is that Minerva's infrastructure still exists. The spire at Meridian is one of the transmission towers that was built to transmit the shutdown codes. And it can also be used to transmit the reactivation codes, and that's why Hades wants the spire at Meridian. If it gets to the spire, it can send a global signal, activating or reactivating all of the shutdown Pharaoh Plague war machines, which is a damn sight more efficient than having the Eclipse go around and dig them up one by one and do it by hand. So it's at this point where the game gives you a choice. Rest up for the night, which will trigger the final battle. So if there's any business that you have unfinished, you need to get it done before you take the option to rest up. And it occurred to me that there was actually some business that had been left unfinished. That mysterious set of power armor inside the armory bunker. I still haven't unlocked it. But the thing is, the components that you need to unlock that set of power armor, fuses and power cells, they're found in bunkers. And I'm pretty sure, and I spent quite some time checking the map to make sure, that I'd explored and searched all of the bunkers available in the game. And yet I was still missing one key component. And then it occurred to me, and then after quite some time, it occurred to me that while it was true that I have explored every bunker in the game, there was one that I didn't fully explore. And the reason I didn't fully explore it wasn't because I was just sloppy and missed things, it was because at the time I was lost, scared, hungry, tired, and 5 years old. It was the bunker that Aloy fell into when she was a child, where she found the focus in the first place. And as a child, she didn't have tools that could be used to remove obstacles. And sure enough, there were still places in this original bunker that had not been explored. And sure enough, that's where I found the last power cell.
This should be the last power cell I need to get to that ancient armor I found.
which means I can finally get my hands on a piece of extremely badass looking mil-spec ancient power armor. Unfortunately, that's not what I'm going to be wearing, because for reasons known only to herself, rather than simply using the ancient power armor, I don't know, maybe it didn't fit, Aloy instead salvaged it and incorporated its shield technology into her existing armor. And it does still look kind of nice, so I guess we'll forgive her. The shield is incredibly useful, by the way. It effectively gives you a rechargeable extra health bar. Any damage inflicted comes out of the shield before it comes out of your health pool. And so, with all of my unfinished business taken care of, we're not going to start the final battle just yet, but we are going to check the 2 defense sites and review preparations at the ridge and the spire.
Sun King? Traitors, the whole tribe of them.
Aloy, I told you I'd be here.
You did, Teb. But have your wounds even had time to heal?
Honestly, if I fought, I'd probably come undone. But don't worry, I'll leave that to the other Nora at the spire. I brought supplies instead. These Karja have made me an honorary quartermaster, whatever that means.
It sounds impressive.
I could get used to it. We'll be setting up caches of arms and medicine under these banners. Look for them when the fighting starts. Aloy, when you went into the mountain, did the goddess tell you our chances?
She didn't need to. I know we can do this, Teb.
Maybe we can.
Had to take over.
Huh. So you must be Aloy then. I thought there'd be more of you.
More of me.
Thicker, I suppose. More of a gear wheel, less of a ringlet. Don't get me wrong, you're very well struck.
Do all Oseram flirt at the most inopportune times?
Inopportune? Battle hasn't even started yet. Petra Forge woman. I hail from the Free Heap. I'll be heading back in the next dust storm. Murad asked me to check over the city arsenal first. Cannons have aged well, but I've cleared their throats so they can really roar.
Can I try one?
Everybody wants a turn. Have at it then.
Right then. Really big gun. So how does this work? An Oseram cannon. Okay, hold both buttons to load the ammo. And then release the fire. Alright, so it just kind of sucks the ammo in.
Oh, I'm here now.
Oy vey. Okay. I get the feeling we're going to be using these in the forthcoming round. Alright, got it. Stand well clear of any obstacles while firing. I guess now we need to check on preparations at the spire.
So who are these guys?
They call themselves the Eclipse.
What does that even mean?
It's when the moon gets in front of the sun, idiot.
Is that supposed to sound scary or something?
I don't know. They used to be Karja. Karja are always yammering about sun and shade.
Well, if they used to be Karja, how tough can they be?
Yeah, they're best guys dressed like birds. We'll rip their little feathers off.
And let's not get cocky, boys. Aloy. So here we are again, gearing up for a fight. Only this time it sounds like the bad guys have a lot more firepower. What are we up against, really?
I'm not sure. But there's gonna be a lot of them, and they'll have machines. And if they get past us, it's not just Meridian that will fall. The rest of the world will go with it.
That's big. It sounds like our kind of fight. Right, guys? Well, where do they put the Vanguard?
At the front of the line!
And why?
Steel before iron!
And what are we gonna do?
Hit them like a hammer till they can't hit back!
Damn right! You hear that? Nobody's getting past the Vanguard. We're here for Meridian. And we're here for you.
Thank you, Aaron. Ursa would be proud.
Well, only if we win.
Greetings, Aloy. Don't. You don't need to bow. The Anointed doesn't like it.
She doesn't much like being called anointed, either. It means a lot to have you here, Varl.
I gave my word.
So, Meridian, what do you think?
I've seen many new things since I first met you. I should thank you.
For all what's wrong.
You really want to know? All right. I'm in a foreign land, a tainted land, defending a faithless city that looks like nothing I've seen. From something I can't imagine. And you, after all that's happened, all you've done, I feel like I should drop to my knees and worship you, but I know you don't want that.
Boy, things are pretty tough for you, huh? Thanks for telling the other Nora not to bow. It's the last thing I need.
Don't be too hard on them. They only joined this fight because the Anointed bid it so.
Is that why you came?
No. I would have come just to see you one more time. And we must fight a metal devil, because the goddess says. Or because you say.
I think the goddess and I are in agreement. We're both glad you're here.
So am I.
It rises taller than the highest tree.
These cards are in their frilled armor look like turkeys.
But there are so many. And now we are so few.
War Chief Sona. War Chief, you seem uncomfortable.
The Nora do not belong here. I do not belong here. I will fight the metal devil that threatens us all, but my place is in the sacred land. The wrongness here jags at me like an arrowhead.
I'm sorry to put you through this.
Do not be sorry. This will be ended. My spear, my word.
Right, well, everything that needs doing is done, so at this point I guess it's time to go and get some rest, because tomorrow is going to be a very big day, one way or the other.
How could you sleep, Elizabeth, with a weight like this pressing on you? How did you, Rost, after you lost your family? Silence? Are you there? Guess I shouldn't ask ghosts for advice.
Ma'am, there are signs from the west. Sun King Avad awaits you at the Temple of the Sun.
Campfires, perhaps? Massing forces for the long march to the city gates?
It's not with smoke.
And what is it?
The end. Or how it begins, anyway.
You spoke of?
To the guns! To the guns! Now!
By the sun, do as she says!
Set loaded! All of you, be ready to fire!
Will the guns hold them back?
We're about to find out too. Rally the vanguard. Send reinforcements.
Aloy, no!
We need those guns!
He will cut you down!
Not this time!
You have vexed me long enough.
Should have fought me in the sun ring then.
Right, it's on. Oh, hang on a minute, these buggers have got guns. That's not playing fair. Well, they do have guns, but if you kill them, you can take the guns off them. The problem is, it's just a Deathbringer cannon. It's basically a kind of really inaccurate and slow rate of fire machine gun. And it's just not very good. And you don't really want to be standing still holding a heavy weapon fighting healers, because he's really fast and mobile. I mean, I gave it a shot, but you can see how it totally cuts down on your mobility, and the second you stand still, he starts tossing fireblades at you, and that's just not good. So screw that. We're going to be doing this without the Deathbringer cannon. The Shield Weaver suit is holding up very, very nicely. Well, of course it is. I'm not exactly playing on the hardest difficulty setting here. But, you know, just for the sake of it, we'll try to do this properly. Hey, straight in the happy sacks. So, the idea is you keep kiting him and shooting him from a distance. And there are all kinds of tools you can use to help make this easier. You can use the rope arrows to pin him in place. You can shoot the, I think they're blaze containers when he's next to them. Or if you're playing on easy difficulty setting, you can just hit him in the face a lot with your stick, because that works too.
What are you before the terror of the sun?
The one who will take you down!
Impossible. I'm chosen. This was not meant to be.
I hope this hurts, Sunshine.
Chosen. Chose you because you're a fool. A sadistic butcher too stupid to see you were being used. Your whole life was a failure. And soon, no one will even remember you. Turn your face to the sun and think about that!
So, problem 1 dealt with. Now for problem 2. Problem number 2 would be the small matter of the army of Deathbringers and war machines assaulting the defences on the ridge. Luckily, somebody put this very handy rope here, which makes it really easy to get down there. That was really lucky, wasn't it? This section of the final battle is, well, basically it's kind of just a shooting gallery. The machines are attacking across the river, and you shoot at them until they stop coming. And that's basically it. There are some complications. The return fire from the machines will destroy your cover, at which point you might have to retreat to another platform. But other than that, that's pretty much it. It does mix things up a little by at one point giving you some flying machines to deal with, which are a bit trickier, but you get the general idea. So this process continues until once you've blasted enough of them, a thing happens. I have to admit, there are certain parts in this final battle that I found a little underwhelming, and that was one of them. Because I'm not a fan of games that say, you must defend this ridge, and then you defend the ridge successfully, and it doesn't matter because the plot steps in and decides that the ridge has fallen, regardless of how well you did or didn't do. And by the way, that's Hades. Let's hope he doesn't recognise me. So the ridge has fallen.
Aloy! Aloy! Aloy!
Deb?
By all, Mother, you survived. I thought you were killed.
The others, are they...
No. Wounded, but alive, mostly. The machines blasted through, then kept going. They marched on the spire, dragging that thing with them.
Take care of the others, Teb. I've gotta go.
And so, it's onto the spire. Through the trail of destruction, left by Hades and his Deathbringer war machines. And it's at the spire where we will be having our final confrontation, and this war is going to be settled one way or the other.
It's begun. Hades is transmitting.
Yeah, that's not good.
Hades has started the signal. It must have gotten through the defenses. Nora. Aaron's vanguard. I have to get up there. They're
Aloy!
alive.
It's Aloy! Well, you can see that.
We thought you'd fallen at the ridge.
No, the ridge fell on me. Look, there isn't a lot of time left. I have to face Hades.
Not alone.
My fight. I can't ask you to come with me.
We were about to go over the top anyway, right?
Right.
The metal devil must fall.
I should stock up. Last chance.
Now the thing about this fight, you're not actually going to be fighting Hades itself directly, because Hades isn't capable of moving under its own power. You saw it being dragged to the spire by a Deathbringer earlier. No, you're going to be fighting the machines that Hades controls.
Arrival of Entity has been anticipated. Entity will not halt transmission. To contrary, calculations are precise. Presence of Entity has been accounted for.
You'd think I might have noticed the massive Deathbringer 30 metres to my left when I got here, but no, apparently not. And yeah, that's what we're going to have to fight. Now, as I'm sure you're aware by now, I don't really play these games for the action. I mean, I know a lot of people do. And on higher difficulty settings, this fight is going to be an utter nightmare. But I, and I'm sure many others, play these games for the story, and the story in Horizon Zero Dawn has been absolutely fantastic. Which is funny, because weren't all the big games publishers, Electronic Arts, Bethesda, Ubisoft, Take-Two, so on and so on, weren't they all telling us that we didn't want to play games for the story anymore? We didn't want games that had a start, a middle, and a definite end, so that we felt as if we'd actually achieved something when we finally got to the end, or that we felt that we'd been entertained. Weren't they all telling us that what we actually wanted to play were games as live services? Games like Fallout 76, for example. Games that you just kept playing over and over and over and over with no real end in sight. Games that they could sell us season passes for, so if we wanted to continue enjoying the experience, we had to keep putting our hands into our pockets long after we'd actually bought the original game. Apparently these are the kind of games that we all really want to be playing if you believe the big publishers, not games that actually have engaging and interesting stories, because stories have a definite start, a definite middle, and a definite end, and once we've reached that definite end, there's no way for the publishers to keep putting their hands into our pockets. And yet I can't help but feel that I've had a much better time playing, and of course your mileage may vary here, not everybody enjoys the same thing in their games as everybody else, but I cannot help but feel that I've had a much better time playing and enjoying the story of games like Horizon Zero Dawn, Red Dead Redemption 2, Far Cry 5, Mass Effect 1, 2 and even 3, except for the last 15 minutes. Games where I actually cared about the characters, where I got invested in what was happening to them, because it was so much more interesting than just seeing how many things I needed to kill in order to get the next loot drop or unlock the next skill point. And I certainly thought that I wasn't alone in this opinion, because if you look at the list of the top 7 best-selling PlayStation 4 titles, we've got Uncharted 4, God of War, Horizon Zero Dawn, The Last of Us, Marvel Spider-Man, Gran Turismo Sport, and The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. Now, 6 of those 7 titles are all games with strong stories. Games that have a definite start, middle, and end. So, I don't quite understand what's going on here, because the major publishers can't be wrong, can they? Because it certainly looks, based on the evidence, that all kinds of people are really enjoying games with good stories. And yet the publishers keep telling us that what we actually want are live services, which is strange, because with the exception of Gran Turismo Sport, which is a live service game, the next live service game on the list of top selling PlayStation 4 titles is FIFA 18, and that clocks in 11th place with 2.4 million sales, and Horizon Zero Dawn has well over 10 million, Uncharted 4 15 million. I mean, I'm finding it real hard to reconcile what the major publishers are telling us and what the facts appear to be, so I'm just not really sure what to think. Unless the major publishers are lying to everybody. I mean, unless they want everybody to start buying live service games so they can keep their hands in our pockets long after they've sold us the initial game, and instead people actually want and enjoy games with good stories. But that can't possibly be true, can it? Because it would mean that the major publishers are all a bunch of lying shitbags with no more right to exist on God's clean earth than a virus. And we all know that can't possibly be true. Anyway, time to get off my soapbox, because speaking of stories, it's fast approaching time to wrap this one up. I have to admit, I was a little confused as to what I was actually supposed to do here. Oh wait, no, that's the Minerva transmission array. That's the spire. Oh, that's Hades. Oh, he looks so small and cute. Oh well, we better kill him.
Master Override armed. To activate, state name and rank.
Elizabeth Sobek. Alpha Prime.
Master Override activated. Purging Extinction Protocol.
There's just one last thing that Aloy needs to see done before we're finished. Do you remember, back at the Gaia Prime bunker, there was a problem with one of the seals, and a machine swarm was closing in, having detected energy emissions from the bunker. And Dr. Sobek went outside in an environment suit, because at that point, the Earth's atmosphere was unbreathable. She sealed the bunker, saved everybody inside, obviously couldn't get back in, and the last thing she said was that she wanted to go home before she died. Yeah.
Okay, Gaia. Sorry about that. Where was I?
You were telling a story.
Right. Yeah, so, like I was saying, it was a children's electronics kit, but I'd hacked the wiring to an auto battery and solar PV. So the grass caught fire. A tall pine that had stood there, I don't know, maybe 100 years.
Query. You were how old?
6. My mother was home, thank God, so she called the fire department, and after, she took me out to the lawn and showed me the dead baby birds, because there were nests in the pine tree.
Query. What did you feel?
I'm not sure. I remember yelling that I didn't care, and that's when my mother took my face in her hands and spoke.
Query. What did she say?
She said I had to care. She said, Elizabeth, being smart will count for nothing if you don't make the world better. You have to use your smarts to count for something. To serve life, not death.
You often tell stories of your mother, but you are childless.
I never had time. Guess it was for the best.
If you had had a child, Elizabeth, what would you have wished for him or her?
I guess I would have wanted her to be curious. And willful, unstoppable, even. But with enough compassion to heal the world. Just a little bit. Anyway, that's all I've got for now, Gaia. Time to tuck in.
I wish you a pleasant sleep, Elizabeth.
Thank you. I'll catch you tomorrow.
Yeah, the publishers must be right. Nobody wants games like this. Give us more games like Fallout 76 instead. And that was Horizon Zero Dawn. There is an expansion out for it, The Frozen Wilds, which I haven't actually played through yet. But as far as the actual game is concerned, that is it. I've really enjoyed it. I hope you have too. And as always, take care. And I'll catch you next time.